Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm just laughing because God, okay, so I haven't left the office yet. I saw this, Tom King made another post. So I'm still at the office. These people, so we have some new neighbors in this office right next door to us, and these people, I think they've moved in like one of those bouncy castles, like literally into the office building, and they're jumping around, or like they maybe are staging an MMA match over there and they're just beating the hell out of each other. I'm telling you, it is the most noise that I've heard in this building the whole time I've been in this office building. I don't know what these people are up to, what they do. Maybe I'll if I find out more about it, I'll fill you in on that later. I don't know, I feel like asking them, hey, is everything okay over there? Okay, so I'm halfway scripting my video for X-Men Fantastic Four #4 by Chip Zdarsky. I loved it. I love the miniseries. It's just 4 comics, and I wanted to post that tonight. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to post it tomorrow, and that's fine. I saw this. So this was a post by Tom King, and I just had to finish this off. I had to at least give my final take on this. So, my final video, I'll leave a link down below to my last video that I made about Tom King trying to cancel Jay Lee for all this Comicsgate nonsense. If you don't know what Comicsgate is, they're mostly conservative, a group of indie creators that, they mostly kind of follow the two channels of Ethan Van Sciver and Richard C. Meyer, who are both publishers that just made a huge amount in crowdfunding. Regardless of what you think about those guys or what you think about all of this, this is a big deal in comics because, look, I mean, we just had a Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con. Look, it was virtual. It wasn't actually in real life, but nobody's paying attention to that. Everybody's eyes are all on Tom King right now. And when I say everybody, I mean every single person that's on Twitter is seeing nothing but this unfold. So he sent all these tweets out, just being really mean, trying to cancel Jay Lee, saying that he was in a hate group. And, hey, Jay Lee's Asian, so this is crazy. Saying anyone is in a hate group is actually defamation when it comes down to it, because, Comicsgate are a lot of things. There must be some obnoxious people in that group. But saying someone's a hate group is actually absolutely nuts. So this is Tom King, and he's retracting. Look, I will give him kudos for this. He's retracting his statements to Jay Lee, and I'll get down to the rest of this. This is what he has to say on Twitter today. As I have done privately, I'd like to publicly apologize to Jay Lee for my actions a few days ago. I should have talked with Jay before I sent a tweet about him that put his career at risk. I made a critical mistake, and I am profoundly sorry. I will do what I can to repair this with Jay, and will do better in the future. I'm not going to offer explanations because they sound like excuses, and I'm not asking for forgiveness or understanding. I'm just saying I see what I did, and I'm going to try to make up for it. Thank you. I have kept up the tweets up to this point in order to show that I was not hiding my actions. I will now take them down. Okay. Look, he apologized to Jay Lee, which is what he should have done as soon as it happened. None of this should have happened to begin with. Tom King should never have come out and said that Jay Lee was in a hate group, or that he even pointing out that Comicsgate is a hate group is absolutely false. Here, let me show you this here. There's a lot of people, like this guy. He says, daily reminder, Comicsgate is a mix of black, white, gay, straight, trans, male, female, brown, Asian, disabled, abled, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, atheist, pagan, right, center, and left-wing people working and playing together just fine. I got to say that I've seen that exact same thing. I really have. I cannot say that I want to take any side in this whole argument between anybody. I look at what happens in the world, and people are literally trying to cancel each other over small things. I mean, I'm saying small differences. Like, can we actually agree to disagree? That's my whole point here. When I look at this, none of this should have happened. I honestly, would I have tried to get Aubrey Sitterson fired from his job when he said those things about 9/11? No, I wouldn't have. I absolutely would not have tried to get him fired. But he did get fired because of his statements about that. Should Jay Lee get fired for his associations with Ethan Van Sciver? No, that's crazy. That's absolutely insane. All of this is nuts. And I got to say that Group A and Group B, they are they're both attacking each other. The hard sides, both of this in comics, and I'm not fond of it. I don't like it. I want to hopefully think that people can stand aside and just simply agree to disagree. Is that possible? And I don't know. I like what this guy had to say. I tend to agree with this guy. Bow ties are cool. I don't know this person's real name, but we follow each other on Twitter. The only difference between Comicsgate and the mainstream is that Comicsgate books take longer to get. Yeah, like a year longer. Other than that, they're identical. Cliques, clubhouses, cancel culture, toxicity, etc., with only a few creators on either side worth following. I gotta tell you, man, that resounds right with me. There's some of these guys, and I think a couple of them may call themselves Comicsgate. I read their books and I liked them, not a whole lot. To be honest, all my favorite books are being written in the mainstream right now. And I will say this, most of the good writing happens in mainstream comics. It's just the bottom line. I got to be honest here. It is what it is. I love Jonathan Hickman. I love Benjamin Percy. Two of my favorite writers right now. I'm going back and I'm reading all of Jonathan Hickman's stuff from his indie days. I'm halfway through Manhattan Projects. It's fantastic. I'm really enjoying most of his stuff, and I really liked some of the statements that who was it? The illustrator from Manhattan Projects was talking all the way through this. He was sticking up for Jay Lee, and that's just fantastic to see people coming together and being like, look, this isn't okay. Cancel culture isn't correct on both sides. Look, I don't care if you're conservative. I don't care if you're liberal. I don't care if you're anti-Comicsgate. I don't care if you're Comicsgate. I don't care if you have no idea what the hell it is. I wish we could all agree that cancel culture is absolutely toxic and horrible, at least most of my friends can come together and say that. I think that anyone in their right mind could actually say that. Look, let's not try to fight or tear each other down. Let's just agree that we disagree with other people. Canceling them is not the right way to do things, in my opinion. Looking at this, I'm blocked by Heather Antos. I don't know what it was. I think maybe I sent her maybe a picture of a milkshake at one point, and that's not okay, I guess. But so she says she's still waiting for any accountability from Jay. Steven Johnson, and these people are really picking on him still. Steven Johnson saying he's still finding it difficult to believe that a comics professional has never heard of Comicsgate. She says, I mean, maybe if you had no friends, peers, colleagues that were people of color, LGBT, women, or other underrepresented communities. I mean, I guess what seems so insane about this statement is that Jay Lee is an Asian American man. And clearly an underrepresented community. This is crazy. This whole cancel culture thing. And then Heather Antos is a great example of it. She really does want to push out anyone who thinks differently than her. I saw someone recently. See, I'm not even going to get into that kind of arguing. I'll say this. I do want to show you at least this last thing here. This whole thing has been a big deal, in comics, because look, what's happened is this has taken away the attention from a whole comic book community during what was supposed to be a Comic-Con. This was literally a virtual Comic-Con month, and this whole past weekend and week should have been focused on San Diego Comic-Con. Out of every single comic book YouTuber, I've saw maybe one post about one video from Comics by Perch talking about, what happened during the Comic-Con and the news that we found out, hey, Iron Man's going to have a new armor. Of course, he's going to have 2 new armors. Of course, Iron Man always has a new armor, is what Perch said, of course. There were a lot of other things discussed, too, that actually mattered, that looked cool, that were neat. All of it's being overshadowed by Tom King trying to cancel Jay Lee. This is ridiculous, to be honest with you. And I know I'm making a video about this, but I think it's ridiculous that this has overshadowed a whole Comic-Con. I agree with Aaron Sparrow here, of course. This is before Tom King's apology, and he was held accountable. I do stand with Jay Lee. I stand with Aaron Sparrow, absolutely. Everyone's talking about this, just scrolling through this. Even Bleeding Cool, the worst comic book website in the world, is talking about this. Of course, you got all your regular suspects. I thought I had that guy muted. Everybody is talking about this. Every single person is bringing this up, and nobody's talking about the Comic-Con. This is the kind of stuff that, look, if we want to focus on comics or our love of comics, then let's do it. Every single time people try to cancel each other, it's absolutely the wrong kind of behavior. This whole look, even comic book resources here is talking about this. What a beautiful variant cover, though. I mean, when it comes down to it, that is awesome. I don't know. I'm probably not going to be picking up the Rorschach book. I don't think it's going to be for me. Maybe. Hey, I'll look at it. Maybe I'll pick up a #1 issue. I just have this kind of fear, since the whole HBO series or whatever, they really might be like trying to depict Rorschach as like a white supremacist or something, and just, come on, man, like, what are we doing? I don't know. Guess we'll see. From what I saw from interviews, it's going to be about angry politics or whatever. I'm like, oh god, another comic book series about angry politics. Oh shit, what are we doing? Oh man, so I just sound so tired of this. I feel so tired of all of this crap. Okay, look, my next video, I promise, it's going to be a comic book review. I'm going to be talking about a comic book that I really like, from one of my favorite writers, Chip Zdarsky. What do you think? What do you think about all of this? It's crazy. What would you say to Tom King if you could? Do you care? Does any of this matter? I mean, do you care about San Diego Comic-Con being just a total non-event? It's just people talking heads to each other on the internet, on Zoom. We're doing Zoom Comic-Cons these days, this whole crazy new world we live in. Welcome to 1984. Tell me what you think about all of this. Look, as always, support your local comic shop. You are the gateway into comics.